Right then, in this video, by popular demand, is another finding somewhere to sleep adventure. Now I asked all my subscribers, what sort of video would you like me to make? And several people said, do another finding somewhere to sleep adventure. So, let's go. Now I actually do quite a lot of finding somewhere to sleep adventures. Often I'm out and I have to find somewhere to sleep. I can't afford hotels because they're so overpriced nowadays. But usually I don't film it. But this time I'm filming my adventure, I'm filming my progress so you can see what it's like to be out in London actually with nowhere to sleep, where you actually have to go and search for somewhere. And to be honest, sometimes it goes well, sometimes you find a really fun place to sleep, sometimes you find a really shit place, and sometimes you don't find anywhere at all, which is the worst case scenario. Now in this video you all know where I'm going to find, because it's in the title. In this video I sleep on top of a lift. But let's start this adventure with the search. So, I'm in London, it's getting late, I need to sleep. And with me, all I've got is a hammock. I don't have anything to keep warm. So, the first place we go to find somewhere to sleep, which is a very posh hotel. This hotel is like £600, £700 a night. It's stupidly overpriced. The thing is, going into these posh hotels, the staff are always very friendly and not onto you straight away. But security's always watching all the cameras and they watch your every move. So you really have to act a part and fit in. Usually staff don't check you at the door. They welcome you in, they seem very friendly, but then security usually goes through and says, that person's not meant to be here. And 5 minutes later, security then comes and confronts you. So going into this posh hotel, I try and act a part, go into the lift, which is an eco disc. A nice MX-20 Plus. This has a 1,600 kilogram capacity. So if this was the original MX-20, it'd be 1.6 meters a second. But this is the MX-20 Plus, so a little bit faster. This one's about 2.2 meters a second. Be honest, it's a bit slow for the number of floors, having 20 floors, and it's a hotel with lots of traffic. But this is as fast as you can go for this capacity on an MRL. To go any faster, either the lift would have to be smaller or it'd have to have a motoring. So then, as all of the floors are locked, I wasn't able to get anywhere. But when a member of staff came and swapped their keycard, I then pressed a floor. I decided to press the top floor, obviously. Turns out the top floor isn't hotel rooms. The top floor is something else, and I've never seen this before. The doors open on floor 20 to find there's a weird door in front of me. This looks like what you'd expect to see on a rundown place to a secret floor or something. This is not what you'd expect to see in a very posh hotel. Open up this door and it leads straight into a kitchen. How fucking weird. Now this is a set of 3 lifts and only one of the lifts comes up to this floor. Let's take a look around this kitchen. You got a sink, oven, microwave, all of the cooking facilities, all very nice. But this is the ultimate kitchen, because as well as all of that, there is 3 logic cabinets. Now that is my perfect ideal kitchen, because while you cook your food, you can play with the lifts. This is my perfect kitchen, everyone, because while I'm cooking my dinner, I can have a look at the lift cabinets. That's weird. Cook my dinner, make my drink of piss. At the same time as my dinner's cooking, let's go and look in the cabinet. And there it is, it's a cone and it's currently on serial mode. So is this a good sleeping spot? Not really. Very posh hotel, staff can come in here at any moment. I went out a door to see if there's much about. Turns out its top floor is actually some sort of lounge area and this is the kitchen for it. The staff were immediately on to me and yeah, security came and I got kicked out of the hotel. Go this way. So then, along I go to the next building, which is the Oxford Street Debenhams. This used to be a massive department store, and I really wanted to explore this Debenhams because I love exploring old Debenhams department stores. But this one had security and I wasn't able to get in. I did try it many times, and on this night I actually managed to get in it. But I'm too late. The entire place has been stripped out. To be honest, it's lost most of its interest. All the epic original interior which I love to explore is gone, so there's not much really left to see. The building's just a shell. That's so annoying, being too late to an URBEX. I take a look around anyway, and the fire exit stairs is the only part that's still furnished. You can still see from these stairs it's a Debenhams. I now got into one of the upper floors and it looks like this. Yeah, stripped out. You couldn't really even tell it's a Debenhams now, which is very sad to see. This here's the middle atrium where the escalators were. And there's not much traces of the lifts. The main lifts are completely gone, nothing to see at all.
too late.
Up into the motor room, all of the motors are sadly gone. So then we'll go onto a roof and let's do a leg dangle.
I already see. Was that something else?
So as for finding somewhere to sleep, as I've only got a hammock and I've got no bedding to stay warm, this place is too cold. There's no heating on, plus security is on site and probably patrols, plus workers will be coming in early in the morning and will find me asleep in a hammock. And I don't want to be woken up by workers because I feel very vulnerable in a hammock. You don't know who's going to come and you don't know if they're going to be nasty. I can't risk sleeping here. Okay, I need to find somewhere to sleep quite desperately now because it's now getting very late. It's now gone beyond midnight. So I very much do need to find somewhere to sleep fast. So, where should I sleep? Well, I'll try another building site. I don't really have much hope because building sites are dodgy. As I said from the last one, you can get disturbed in the morning by very unfriendly workers. But I went into this building site anyway. This one is located right next to St Paul's Cathedral. The crane is sort of in a very strange, odd position in the building site. It's got crane protection around it, but you can just step the gap across from the building to the crane, bypassing crane protection. So I got the crane is on, but sadly the cab is locked, so it means I can't drive it. Also, crane cabs are quite nice places to sleep because they're warm. And also, next day's going to be a Sunday, and security and workers doing patrols are not going to come up here, and the crane driver won't be working on a Sunday. So the crane cab could have been a potential place to sleep, but sadly locked. Now I climbed a bit of a way up the counter jib, and I could sleep with the hammock tied between the two parts of the counter jib. But it's very, very windy and cold up here. I've got nothing to keep warm in the hammock. This is not possible. So I now go down the crane and take a look around the building site. This is another strip building. They are doing conversion works to this building. They're converting it, so probably being converted from offices to residential because offices are going down in demand and residentials are going up in demand. Interestingly, a lot of the buildings around St Paul's and Bank area all look very sort of old-fashioned and nice on the outside because they've got old facades, but the interiors of the buildings are all concrete shell buildings. Along to the lift, which is an old express lift. It's got an old express indicator. It's sadly modernised, and it turns out there's actually no lift in this shaft. They've just kept the doors on buttons, but inside the shaft is an empty shell. The lift has gone. So then, it's now got even later. It's now about 1 AM or 2 AM, and I very much need to sleep now. Where can I sleep? Because all of the hotels now have locked doors and they're checking everyone on entry because it's very late at night. Everywhere warm I can think of is now locked up. I should have really found somewhere earlier than this. Once it gets to this late, it becomes very hard to find somewhere, especially somewhere warm. But then, I managed to find somewhere. Guess where? A car lift. Now, I have had the idea of sleeping on top of lifts before. Now, regular lifts are often too small to sleep on top. Also, it'd be very dangerous on a regular lift if the lift moved, because when you're asleep, you can roll in the night. It is just far too dangerous to do. Do not sleep on top lifts. It's very, very dangerous. Now, I have slept on top lifts before, but these were broken lifts, so I found a lift out of service. I actually climbed on top and gone to sleep. But there's still the risk of the engineer coming. And if the engineer comes and does something in the logic cabinet and moves the lift without checking the lift first, you still have that same potential of the lift potentially moving while you're sleeping on top of it. And you might have rolled in the night and you might be in a dangerous position and the lift could move and crush you. So it's not a safe thing to do. Even if the lift's out of service, even if you find the lift broken down and waiting repair, it's still not safe to sleep on top of the lift. But car lifts are different because they are massive. Look at the top of this car lift. You can actually hammock across from one side to the other, meaning you could even sleep on top of a working car lift. As on a regular lift, it's too small to put a hammock across, but the car lift's big, so you can safely hammock on this. And in a hammock, you're not going to roll in the night, you're not going to roll down side of the lift. And the lift would move if a car gets in it, but that's not really a problem because you're just hammocking on top of a lift. Now, the lifts get maintained usually every month, sometimes every 2 months, sometimes every 3 months, meaning you do have a slight chance an engineer might come along and service the lift, but to be honest, I don't think lift engineers are that aggressive, to be honest, not compared to builders in a building site. Now, this particular car lift, which we found, was actually broken. Now, this lift, we found it with the stop button pressed in. So an engineer's obviously come to this lift to repair it, didn't have the parts and left the lift stopped while they went off to get the parts to repair the lift the next day. but this was Saturday night, Sunday morning. Lift engineers only do essential repairs on Sundays. So as the lift has been left on stop because the engineer obviously didn't have the parts, they're not going to come back to finish repairing a lift until Monday. And as this is now like 2-3 am, I'm going to be sleeping on this lift probably to midday Sunday. But as no engineer is going to turn up, that's not a problem. Meaning for this Saturday night, this is actually an ideal place to sleep. It is perfect. It's warm. Lift shafts are always warm because the lift often gives off quite a bit of heat. It's sheltered. No one's going to think that anyone's on top of the lift. Plus also no one can get in because I take the paperwork for the lift and shove it into the door roller, and it's now impossible to open this roller. So it's also very safe and protected on this lift. This is a perfect place to sleep, and even on the off chance the engineer did come and start moving a lift from the logic cabinet, it's still not going to be a problem. It's still going to be completely safe because I'll be safely in the hammock and a long way away from the edges, plus the lift's very slow. So me and my friend slept on top of this lift. This was an adventure. This is certainly not somewhere I'd normally sleep. But most of all, I got a proper good night's sleep doing this. So this lift was definitely a good place to sleep. But with that said, very important message. I do not recommend sleeping on top lifts. It is very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Especially do not sleep on top lifts any smaller than this. Regular little lifts is unsafe. The only reason why I did it in this video is because it's a massive car lift. Plus I was in a hammock so I couldn't roll over the edge in the night. With that said, my message to everyone watching this video is do not copy this. This is not a safe thing to copy.
Good, I'll take that.